Who wants to take? Dan? You want to do the Baldoni stuff? Or AB said you and Lena are the experts on this.
I don't want to declare myself an expert, but
sure.
But I'll lead the discussion.
Yes, please, of course.
Okay. Well.
What? It's not dishing with Dan.
Oh. I didn't know we were dishing.
I guess
Did
anything
you
that
guys not have coffee this morning? What is going on here?
I don't know.
Baldoni is not dishing with Dan.
You know what this feels
like?
Why?
You can't dish with Baldoni, or is that why can't he dish Baldoni?
Because it's not dishing.
This
you know what
like
I think
news.
it is.
This is like slop pop culture.
And there's only one intro that's appropriate for that. Mm-hmm. Nate, hit it. Nate.
Wait, which intro?
I don't know what. I don't know.
I know what you're thinking.
Oh,
just go with your instinct.
Fuck you, mudblood.
That doesn't. That's not good.
Hell
She's
yes.
not here.
She is always here. She's always with us. Yeah, Dan, that was your fault.
All right.
Hey, I nailed the twirl.
You didn't nail it, but you were close enough.
No, he was slow coming out of the ground.
Oh, that's
Can we try
on-
it again?
I'm not feeling if it's not Olivia.
Okay, guys, we got a lot to get to.
We got a lot to get to.
Let's-
So stop
let's
fucking
laser
around, Nate, and
focus.
play
I
the
love her.
fucking intro correctly.
She doesn't even go here.
Yes, she does.
How dare you?
Yeah. Yes. Olivia would be very proud.
Thanks.
Slay. Okay,
I hope
let's
so.
do this.
All right, so there was a huge update in this case that we've been tracking pretty much since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So Blake Lively had sued Baldoni and the production company, Wayfair Studios, as well as the PR firm TAG, which is the agency group, for allegedly running a smear campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And she took a bit of an L on this one. A federal judge threw out 10 of 13 of the claims in Blake Lively's lawsuit, including the sexual harassment and defamation claims.
My God.
So that's quite an incendiary headline. And as you can probably imagine, I just got a review from Olivia.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hi, girly.
So the harassment claims were dismissed by the judge. And, this has been, we've vacillated quite a bit. I wouldn't say that we're necessarily pro Blake Lively entirely, but I think over time we have found Baldoni to be epically cringe, and some of his actions and the allegations to be pretty disturbing. But the judge dismissed those claims. And
Point of clarity. So were these dismissed on their merits or technicalities?
We're going to get to that. A bit of a mixture. But obviously the people that support Justin Baldoni, of which there's quite a bit, actually, I would say, I mean, is my impression accurate, you think, that he has more support than Blake?
I have no fucking idea.
In the court of public opinion? Guy is saying yes. Okay.
People still like him. I think they both suck, and I find him so unlikable, but okay.
Right. I kind of agree that that neither of them are particularly likable. But as we've discussed in many of these, somebody being likable doesn't really have any impact on the merits of their claims. So just because, for instance, Blake Lively being really fucking cringe and pretty annoying, that doesn't have any impact on whether or not she was sexually harassed or not. So obviously the Baldoni supporters, they're taking a bit of a victory lap on this because on its surface, this looks like a huge W for him. However, we're going to go into it a little bit. Upon closer examination, there's definitely, it's not that it isn't a W for him. I'm sure he's glad that those got dismissed. But it's a little bit more complicated when you actually look at what the judge said. So, the judge ruled that Lively could not bring sexual harassment claims under a federal law under which it was filed because she was an independent contractor, not an employee.
Huh? Why would that matter?
So it's because the sexual harassment claims, the legal justification was under this thing called Title VII, which is a federal law as part of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. which is a federal agency that works to enforce anti-discrimination laws such as Title VII. Basically, Title VII only applies if you are an official employee. And due to the nature of the film industry and how these contracts works and everything,
You can't sue someone if you're in it, so you can just sexually
not that
harass
so obviously not.
Right.
Right. But you can't use this specific law as justification for it if you're not technically employee. So basically,
Sounds like their lawyers fucked up.
it sure
Yeah.
does sound like that.
Wow.
So we can discuss that in a little bit. However, there's nuance to this. So those claims, that wasn't all 10 of the ones that got dismissed, but those got dismissed saying basically you're filing in the wrong place. Several of the other claims, their legal justification wasn't using this federal law, it was using a California law. Those were also dismissed because the alleged harassment happened on set. Now, the movie was shot in New Jersey, not California.
Oh,
So the
God.
judge is essentially saying that there's no jurisdiction here in California, which is where she was suing, because the alleged harassment that took place didn't happen in
So
California.
they tried to cover their ass and they fucked up again.
So on both of those fronts,
Wow.
they were unsuccessful.
Dumbasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why those were dismissed. However, it goes a little bit further because the judge actually did comment on the merits of some of the claims. Now, this is something that you're going to see a lot, again, by the Baldoni supporters latching onto because this part of the judgment does not sound good for Blake. Let me read it to you directly from the judgment, as I think it's kind of interesting. So stand by. I'll pull it up on screen, actually. Moment. So this was this judgment came out yesterday, so this is pretty fresh. Here we go. So it's the allegation that the judge made these comments about pertained. We discussed this in one of our previous episodes where we talked about all this. It pertained to an alleged incident during filming where the two of them were shooting a slow dance scene, which didn't have any audio being recorded. And during the filming of the scene, well, you know what? It says what happens in this judgment, so let me read it. So Lively also points to certain conduct that occurred during filming. Early in the production phase, Lively and Baldoni filmed a scene in which their characters danced together. The script stated that their characters would be slow dancing, quote, completely in their own world. Wow. But did not otherwise include details of how the scene would be shot or how the characters would be interacting. So the script just called for a vague, wow, it's a magical moment. They're dancing and they're looking lovingly into each other's eyes or whatever. What? Okay. What are we going to do about it?
Feed down.
Feed down.
Cover for a second, I guess.
The feed is down, folks.
Well, first, Ethan, I'm sure you already have so many thoughts with the lawyer making. It's
kind of hard to
big
believe.
mistake, right?
Yeah. Well, so they covered their ass on the first one. They're like, okay, we'll do it federally. Try to make that argument. If that doesn't work, we'll do it in California. How did they not see that wouldn't have worked? It was filmed in New Jersey. It just seems like such dumb lawyering. And I'm pretty sure if I recall, they can now have the option to refile it in New Jersey, that specific claim, and it sounds like they probably would. But I'm curious what the judge is here. I haven't heard this this opinion.
I definitely think they'll refile, but I feel like the public will react to this and latch onto this as if it was thrown out for other reasons.
Yeah.
rather
Which
than
is why
misfiling.
the lawyers should never have fucked this up.
It's really horrible and
so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know whose fault it is.
But also, it's a reminder how complicated the legal system is. Like, why is it so complicated?
Do you guys really think a lawyer would make this mistake?
I
Is
don't
it
know.
Not really.
obvious? Like, what happened here?
I don't
Are
know.
they like?
And I'm sure she's paying a lot of money. It's probably good lawyers.
I mean, you could go crazy with the conspiracy theories here and say like they knew it's gonna get thrown out here, and they thought it was like now they could use that excuse. It was thrown out because of
No.
alter.
Nobody
think-
would do that.
What's the
Here-
logic though?
The lawyers knew it was likely to get. They were probably arguing. I'm not without reading the briefs, which
Sure.
is probably very dense, and I'm not interested.
Yeah, fair enough.
They probably are arguing why they think it's valid, and they're hoping the judge will rule that it's applicable. They may be trying to do it for the federal and then California because it's more advantageous for whatever reason
Yeah.
to do it there, and maybe in would they say Maryland or Rhode Island,
Something
where,
like that.
they don't want it there because there's certain disadvantages. It's hard to believe that Blake Lively would hire such a dumb lawyer that they wouldn't see any of this.
Yeah.
So, again, it's probably complicated, and I have to assume their lawyers aren't just that dumb.
I'm curious, can a lawyer be so wrong to their client and presenting this so wrong to her that it could be like disbarment, or what's the word for it? Like their fault?
Malpractice?
Malpractice, exactly.
Not really.
I don't think
No.
so, but maybe because I was thinking the same thing. Like, how could such a highly paid attorney make a mistake like that?
I don't think they did. I think it's just complicated.
Or maybe, I mean, as long as they got it out there, and then the headlines have done the damage already to his reputation.
Well,
Regardless,
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't think they.
That's true. I mean, that's true. They could have speaking.
maybe they didn't expect it to go to trial too, before Baldoni chose to fight back. But also, her team did put out a statement about after the ruling, and they said that that Blake looks forward to testifying at trial, and that the case has always been and will remain focused on the devastating retaliation. So, and the alleged effort to destroy Lively's reputation after she raised safety concerns on set. That one I just found a little weird because I thought it was always about the sexual harassment
too.
and protecting women in the workplace.
Me too.
I think the audio.
Oh, are we having issues?
We're having.
Oh, it just got back. It just got back.
We're yeah. We are having technical issues here, folks. Stand back and stand by. Play some waiting room.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the mics out.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Having a little bit of technical issues there, but it's all worked out. Back to Baldoni. Bazania. Have you ever wanted to have those balls on you? Wait no more. It's time. Thank you, Morgan. Appreciate that. Feeds are all back. We're all ready to go. Dan, you're back. Everything is back and running. We were just reading the judge's opinion. If you're ready to presume, or
We're ready.
Yeah,
I
okay.
apologize for
No
all
worries.
the technical issues.
No worries.
I still can't see your feed, Nate, but you know what? That's fine.
I can read
Oh,
it.
wait, I fixed it. Okay, we're good.
Okay, great.
All right, so here we go. Where did I leave off? Right, we're reading the judgment. So the question is, what did the judge have to say about her sexual harassment claims? Lively also points to certain conduct that occurred during filming. Early in the production phase, Lively and Baldoni filmed a scene in which their characters danced together. The script stated that their characters would be slow dancing completely in their own world, but did not otherwise include details about how the scene would be shot or how the characters would be interacting. The script did not specifically call for any kissing or simulated intimacy. Yet, Lively claims that during filming, Baldoni leaned in and gestured as if he was intending to kiss her, and that he kissed her forehead, rubbed his face and mouth against her neck, put his thumb to her mouth, and flicked her lower lip. Jeez, it's getting very... caressed her, leaned into her neck, saying, "It smells good." Lively, oh, yeah, that's from her declaration. The record includes videos of the scene. The scene was shot in front of a large group of people. Baldoni can be heard giving blocking instructions. Both actors can be shown improvising. Other actors are in the background. There is no question that this conduct might support a hostile work environment claim if it occurred on a factory floor or an executive suite. But in all sexual harassment cases, the court must carefully consider the social context in which the particular behavior occurs and is experienced by its target. And the question is whether in this conduct, Baldoni's conduct could reasonably be understood to reflect a view about Lively as a woman rather than, quote, the role she was asked to play, meaning her character. Under this framing, it would be difficult to view Baldoni's conduct as reflecting hostility or bias based on gender. He was acting in the scene. Assuming he was improvising, the conduct was not so far beyond what might be reasonably expected to take place between two characters during a slow dancing scene, such that an inference of hostile treatment on the basis of sex would arise. At least in isolation, remember this for later, the conduct was directed to Lively's character rather than Lively herself. Creative artists, no less than comedy room writers, must have some amount that they're mentioning comedy room writers because of the case that they were previously referencing here had to do with that. Might have some amount of space to experiment within the bounds of agreed script without fear of being held liable for sexual harassment. So,
I think that's a good analysis there.
Yeah, I mean, what they're saying makes sense. Now, admittedly, this just came out yesterday. Not all of the hot takes are out there yet, but I think you can anticipate the Baldoni defenders really narrowing in on this.
Well, they should.
Right. I mean, it is.
I mean, this is pretty definitive. Like, the judge dismissed it on technicality, but they still went out of their way to write an opinion that it wasn't sexual harassment. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. That's basically
pretty big deal.
So now it's almost like a double confusion because I saw it was dismissed on a technicality. But then the truth actually is, well, the judge actually explicitly says that they don't think it was sexual harassment.
So an addendum to what you just said, he didn't think this incident was sexual harassment.
Right.
Now, this is where I just want to make people aware because when you see all of the hot takes about, Baldoni vindicated, see if those people, when they showed this quote, go on to read the very next sentence.
Uh-oh.
So although these incidents could not on their own sustain a hostile work environment claim, sexual harassment claims must be viewed based on the totality of the circumstances. And there is other conduct by defendants that presents a closer question.
True.
A reasonable jury could conclude that Baldoni commented on Lively and Slate's, that's Jenny Slate, remember she was another actress in the movie who also seems to be backing Blake pretty heavily in all of this, commented on Lively and Slate's physical appearances rather than the appearances as actors or characters.
Good point.
In ways that made them uncomfortable. Comments of these types can help contribute to a hostile work environment.
Mm-hmm.
During the first phase of shooting, Baldoni asked Lively to remove her jacket, and when she did so, revealing a partially unzipped onesie at the time and a lace bra underneath, Baldoni said, "Pretty hot," in a tone that made Lively feel on display and uncomfortable. Lively responded that was, quote, not what she was going for, and Baldoni replied, "Sexy?" To which she said, "Neither." The comment was understood contemporaneously to be inappropriate. Slate told Baldoni that the comments about actors' bodies and their wardrobe range from irrelevant or unnecessary to inappropriate and distracting, and we're just not doing this anymore. Baldoni rolled his eyes and stated, "Sorry, I missed the sexual harassment training," before walking away. So I can keep going if you like.
Yeah, keep going. I love this. This is interesting.
All right. Before walking away. Also that day, Lively was wearing a jacket over a dress with a lower cut neckline, she wasn't in wardrobe, not a costume. And when she bent down to pick something up, her jacket fell open, revealing her dress and cleavage, and Baldoni said, "I like your outfit," while making a back and forth gesture across his chest area, which Lively interpreted as referring to her chest. Although Lively had referred to her own wardrobe as sexy on certain occasions, that did not open the door to all manner of comments on her appearance. Baldoni also told Slate, again Jenny Slate, who played his character's sister, was not involved in any sexual content in the film and was wearing black leather pants at the time. "I can say this because my wife is here, but you look sexy in what you're wearing."
He's such a creep, dude. If that's all true, the judge repeats it as if it's all.
Well, this is all. These are other allegations, and my point of highlighting all of this is that, again, I can't point to specific instances, but certain influencers and people that have been on the Baldoni train this whole time, I suspect, will point to that first section that I read to you,
right?
Which
sounds like a resounding.
It sounds like it's just a total vindication of Baldoni. She's overreacting. The circumstances made it not harassment. However, when he goes on to address all this other stuff, it's not so clear. So
it actually seems like the opposite. Now the judge is saying like, and that would be my decision if all of this other stuff didn't exist. Which reframes the original scene of them together. It's confused. Everybody is so twisted up. I know what the judge is saying, though. I mean, the judge seems like a good judge. It's hard not to be taken out of context.
This is a lot. Yeah, right. It's a very complicated case. I mean, we've struggled ourselves over the many times that we've covered this. It's confusing. There's so many counter allegations and angles to this. So I'll keep going. Then there's the intrusion into Lively's physical privacy. On the second day of filming, Heath, which Heath, if you recall, is Baldoni's business partner, part of Wayfair Studios, which was the production company that was behind the movie. Heath arrived in Lively's trailer while she was almost entirely undressed, having her body makeup removed. Lively agreed to meet with him because she had concerns that she wanted to share with him, but she made him promise to turn away from her and face the wall, which he agreed to do. At some point during the discussion, Lively realized that Heath had turned away from the wall to face her and was staring at her exposed body through a mirror.
That's crazy.
Oh.
Lively confronted Heath in the moment, and he admitted to looking at her, say, "Oh, sorry. I like to make eye contact with people when I talk to them."
The fuck?
What?
The Second Circuit has recognized that stares at a woman's body can provide evidence of a hostile work environment. And here, Lively was in a state of undress and specifically asked Heath not to look at her. In another incident, he goes over all of them. Another incident, Baldoni and Heath pushed for Lively to perform a birth scene naked, even though her character was in a hospital. They had not previously discussed blocking the scene in this way. She had not anticipated or agreed to being exposed in the scene, and the offer letter provided that there would be, quote, no nudity, simulated sex without the artist's prior written consent, negotiation, execution of a nudity rider. Lively felt forced to compromise by performing simulated nudity from below the chest down with her uncovered legs spread apart wide in stirrups and only a small thin piece of black fabric covering her genitalia. The entirety of the filming of the scene, which took several hours, the set was not closed to non-essential personnel. If this can be verified, so this is where it dips into territory that I'm a little bit more familiar with, and we've talked about this recently with David too, but this shit is usually like hyper locked down. Like anytime there's any sort of nudity or sex scene or anything like that, it's generally you remove everybody who's non-essential. It's basically just like the director, the camera operator, and the actors. Everybody else is supposed to leave. And importantly, an intimacy coordinator, which, if you recall from earlier discussions, there seemed to be some dispute of if there was one or not. Baldoni claims that there was. She claims that there wasn't. Obviously, when and if this goes to trial, that would need to be sorted out. Who's telling the truth about that?
That seems pretty easy to figure out.
Pretty easy to verify, right? I mean, there should be like payment records of that person. That's a position. So anyways, for the entirety of the filming of the scene, which took several hours, the set was not closed to non-essential personnel. Lively has submitted some evidence that industry standards would call for an intimacy coordinator to be present because there was implied nudity and high hip exposure that constitutes profile nudity, but no such person was present. See, this may be where, this is interesting. This actually might be where the dispute is coming from, because Baldoni might be saying, every sex scene, we had an intimacy coordinator, and that could be true. But then impromptu blocked scenes like this, where she was partially nude and didn't have one because, we're just doing it in the moment kind of thing. That's just me speculating, but that could be where, the disparity between those two accounts is coming from.
Reading the judge's opinion is actually great because they just succinctly...
They're laying it all out.
Yeah,
That's why I wanted to just go straight to this, because I was reading some articles about it this morning, and even the more neutral ones reporting on it, it's
not better than this.
It's too complicated of a case to like sum up succinctly.
The judge is doing it.
To read what the judge was actually
slay.
So at another point during work on screenplay and in discussing a sex scene in the film, Baldoni offered that he and his wife orgasm at the same time. And he asked if Lively and her husband do the same.
Gross.
Also during the writing process, after Lively commented that she believes some scenes had become, quote, somewhat pornographic, Baldoni volunteered in the course of claiming that the scenes were not pornographic, that he had previously been addicted to pornography. Lively stated that she had never seen pornography, and Baldoni later announced to individuals on set that Lively had never seen pornography. It may be fair grounds for an author or a director to discuss personal experiences, including those related to sex, as part of a creative process, and the mere mention of sexual content or topics in the workplace does not necessarily support a hostile work environment claim. But Baldoni's on-set comment to the crew members regarding whether Lively watched pornography bore no apparent connection to the creative process and singled Lively out in front of others in a way that can be interpreted as relating to sex and based on gender. So again, the judge is finding a lot of her claims to be merited.
Actually, now it's sounding really bad for him.
Right. There are other instances of alleged inappropriate behavior, including one in which Heath, again, the co-producer at Wayfair.
This guy's a real creep, it sounds like.
Yeah, showed Lively a video of his wife giving birth, but it suffices for present purposes to conclude that, drawing all inferences in Lively's favor, a person in her position could have understood the workplace to at times reflect a gendered and sexualized view of women and a disregard for their privacy, sufficient to make it reasonable to complain about a hostile work environment based on sex or gender. That conclusion finds additional support in the fact that Lively alluded to many of these incidents in the protections letter, and the Wayfair parties wrote that although their perspective differed in many aspects, they found most of her requests not only reasonable, but also essential for the benefit of all parties involved. So let me explain that a little bit, because this is going to be really relevant to the next part. We did discuss this at one point, but I can totally understand if people are lost on the details. Basically, early into the production is when many of these incidents took place. The production was then put on hold because of the writer's strike that took place back, I guess it was 3 years ago now, 2023 was the writer's strike. So the production went on hold. When that happened, Blake Lively at that point approached the producers, Baldoni and the other producers, and said, I'm not coming back until we get an agreement on paper that stuff like this is going to stop happening. They agreed to that, and they signed off on that, and that's what the judge is quoting here when they said that that they found her request not only reasonable, but also essential for the benefit of all parties involved. So that agreement is going to come into play now because, as I mentioned at the beginning of this segment, they dropped 10 of the 13 charges or counts in the lawsuit. The 3 that remain are still pretty bad for Baldoni.
That's the thing.
We'll get to that.
That's the thing. The first thing I thought, as someone who's been through a lot of lawsuits, when I heard 10 of the 13 were dismissed, was like, that's actually huge for Blake, because if any of them survive, then he's got a huge fucking problem on his hand. That means the lawsuit is going forward at all.
Right.
Like
the lawsuit is going forward.
Right.
And that's why I think people are a little premature in declaring victory for Baldoni.
Yeah. And of course it matters what claims survive, but like 3 claims that the judge decided have merit is a lot. That's actually a lot.
And moreover, the claims that were dismissed, many of them were found to have merit. They're just filed in the wrong jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So he's really not off the hook yet here.
Yeah. But at this point, he's not a defendant anymore. His company is, but he is off the hook in those terms.
He's not off the hook.
Until, if she decides to refile. But yeah, he's not a defendant.
It's his business.
Not personally, but his business is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so let me see. The court need not consider whether the acts as alleged would support a jury verdict that the Wayfarers parties created a hostile work environment under FEHEA. FEHA. That's the California law. It is sufficient that it was reasonable for Lively to believe that they did. Okay, so here's why this is important. What the judge is basically saying, and I guess we need to get into which claims he allowed to stand. So there's 3, like we said, and probably the most important one, I guess, is the FEHA retaliation claim. So what that is about is, did Baldoni and his company retaliate against Blake for speaking up about the sexual harassment? And what the judge is essentially saying is it doesn't actually matter in that case if the sexual harassment took place or not. All that matters is that she felt sexually harassed and that she complained about it. Because now the case is just going to be about, did he then retaliate against that? So the actual sexual harassment is not going to be litigated in this trial. It's what happened after she spoke up about it. So that's one of the ones that went through.
Which makes sense because it's like, you can lodge a complaint that maybe is not valid and then deal with that. But if you're retaliating even against a claim that's like, maybe not like the most, then that's a separate issue, totally separate issue.
Right. So one of the
Baldoni,
he's
in trouble.
He's in a little bit of trouble, or at least his company is. And so that retaliation claim is being kept. That's moving forward. Breach of contract is another charge.
Well, did the judge issue any opinion on the merits of the retaliation one, or just explaining that if sexual harassment happened or not is irrelevant?
He did. Well, at least to the point that he thinks that there's enough there that it deserves a jury trial.
Okay.
So we'll get into that in a second.
I see.
There's breach of contract. So the contract is the one that I pointed out earlier. When they went on a break, from filming because of the strike. She said, okay, this is a good time. Production's paused anyways. I want to get a contract on paper that the unprofessional stuff that's been happening won't keep happening. They agreed to that. They signed that. That contract, they signed the agreement in January 2024 to get Lively back to production after the strike pause, after she raised concerns about the conduct on set. In that agreement, it said that, quote, no retaliation of any kind against her for raising those concerns or for insisting on the listed protections. And it goes further by defining retaliation broadly to include changes in attitude, sarcasm, marginalization, or other negative behavior, whether on set or during publicity and promotional work. So the breach here is related to the retaliation claim. They're kind of like intertwined. But basically, if he in some way retaliated against her for making a fuss about this, that would be in breach of this contract that they agreed to, that he wouldn't do that. So that's charge 2. And then the third is actually not directed towards Baldoni directly. It's towards this TAG, the agency group, which was the PR firm that he hired. And so Lively says that the agency group PR, the outside PR firm, substantially assisted the alleged retaliatory campaign carried out by the employer's defendants. Under the rule the judge applied, aiding and abetting requires knowledge of underlying wrongful conduct plus substantial assistance or encouragement. So this is the other part that I found pretty interesting, so I screenshotted this too. This is the claims about what that PR agency did. So let's take a look and assess if we think they did anything bad here, right? So Lively argues that Wayfarer parties have taken steps to harm her reputation in ways that go beyond the, quote, digital campaign allegedly executed by Wallace. From May 1st, 2024 through July 2025, TAG communicated directly with certain individuals who seed, generate, create, or influence social media content or provide related digital services, including Billy Bush, Andy Signor, I don't know who that is.
Candace Owens?
Candace Owens.
Wait, what?
Perez Hilton and Sage Steele.
Wait, she's in contact with his people? That's fucked up.
Interesting, right?
Dude, fuck Candace Owens. I hate her. She is such a scumbag.
So, for example, Nathan messaged Perez Hilton, that he was, quote, in her circle of BF trust. I don't know what that means.
Best friend
trust, I guess. And that she would be happy for him to say this. And you can say, with Hilton responding, we'll get on these later. On other occasions, Freeman started a group chat with Steele, a former client of his, explaining that Steele is on copy. In order to use her, we need to start with a video that can go viral. That will get her in organically. No news outlet sees or wants to explain the connection without it. Steele responded that she was thinking a video would be best, most organic and genuine way for her to do this. Abel then shared certain top-line talking points with her. 2 days later, Steele shared her first draft of the video, which Sorowitz replied that it was a good start. To sum it up, this PR agency was essentially working directly with these kind of gossip influencers to formulate their plan to, what's the right term for it?
Smear?
I guess smear.
Yeah.
Blake Lively. I mean, I guess smear. Does smear imply that it's like false? Because the whole thing with her is they just like. I don't know if they necessarily lied about her in those
character
assassination or whatever you want. They wanted to turn the public against her.
Yeah.
And we kind of remember, again, this I think was going on when we were first talking about this whole story, but there was lots of viral TikToks about her, all those old interview clips and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that wasn't organic. That was this PR agency working directly with some pretty big influencers to kind of seed this out onto the internet.
Right.
So TAG also indicates it communicated about Lively and Reynolds with approximately 20 media outlets, including the Daily Mail, People, Us Weekly, Dumois, all the usual suspects, For instance, on August 13th, Nathan and other TAG employees discussed working with Daily Mail reporter about a story detailing the whole PR debacle behind the scenes, including the following talking points. You have a film with a serious subject matter, not only been promoted with focus on flowers and clothes. Remember that? That was a big part of it too, is how she kept talking about like,
grab your florals,
girls, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So again, I don't want to say like smear to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that implies it was a lie. It was more so they were boosting this narrative.
Isn't this what these companies do?
Absolutely.
It seems like that's just what they do, man.
Well, so I think where this gets tricky is that basically Baldoni, this is her telling of events. Baldoni signed a contract saying he wouldn't do shit like this, and then he did this shit.
But that's on him, not the marketing agency. Right.
Well, so it gets tricky, and this is where it probably goes beyond my expertise, but this charge, this aiding and abetting retaliation, apparently the way the law is written is that if they knew about
the contract,
if they knew the context of this, then they are liable, and I think they're alleging that they, through the conversations that they got through discovery,
that
they did seem to understand what was going on. Yeah.
Can we get the contact of some of these people if they need us to lie in the future? Get a payday? Like,
they seem like they're really good at their jobs,
Jeez,
to be fair. Because
Candace Owens did 29 videos about Blake, all defending Baldoni.
You're right, yeah.
And I want you to give me rim job.
No.
Whoa!
Candace.
And hold my fart like a bong rip.
No. That's disgusting.
And that introduced her to a whole new audience. People just thought she was just like a gossip,
Right,
person.
we were talking about at the time how she was basically infiltrating the girly pops by using the story. So, anyways,
wow.
Let me keep going. So, Daily Mail, blah blah blah. PR campaign distracting audiences away from the important message playing out as a high school fight between the two stars. Why would Blake allow this to happen? How could she? What is she thinking right now regarding her team? And did Blake's inability to relate to regular people / what they want to see just slight her big moment? So, they were engineering this narrative. And again, not necessarily with lies, because I mean, those clips of her were real. And as I sort of alluded to at the beginning of all of this, I think we've all sort of concluded Blake Lively pretty unlikable, pretty cringe.
Yeah, she's a mean girl.
Yeah. Right. And here they even talk about that. Cultivate blah blah blah. Professor Ashley Humphrey, a professor of integrated marketing communications at the Medill School of Journalism and Professional Marketing at the Kellogg School of Management. Jesus Christ, this title calculates a, quote, conservative estimate over 176 million online impressions, calling Lively a bully, a mean girl, tone deaf in the wake of the digital campaign. So they did some like high level analysis of, all of the
That
discourse.
could be true. I mean, they did get a lot of eyeballs.
It was a huge story.
Yeah.
It still is. So they became a lens through which the general public integrated new information and had a lasting negative impact on Miss Lively's reputation. Blah, 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 blah. Reputational effects, all that kind of stuff. It did not happen here. Anyways, so this is the other charge that the judge is allowing to go forward against this PR agency.
Interesting. So they must have some good evidence.
Yeah, enough that the judge feels like it's worthy of going to trial and letting a jury hear it out. So, again, headline, Justin Baldoni sexual assault allegations have been dismissed.
Yeah.
That's the headline right now. And on its surface, that sounds pretty fucking bad for Blake. And again, not good for Blake that they got dismissed necessarily. But when you dig into the rest of this, Baldoni is very much not out of the woods with this case, and it is going to trial. And now I will say, I was curious. I'm like, is Blake going to refile? Has her lawyer said anything about that? Their statement was a little vague. Got to say, didn't really sound like they are. Sounds like they're just going to focus on this, which might be a strategic thing.
They know what they're doing,
right?
I feel like her lawyers must know what they're doing. Her husband's like they're billionaires. I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds, he has like all these businesses and shit.
Yeah, he's the Mint Mobile guy.
They're armed to the teeth with great lawyers.
I'm sure they have very good lawyers.
Yeah.
Which that was part of it is why I wanted to really dig into this is we were kind of speculating about it before, what Love brought up. It's like, what's with these lawyers? How could they be so stupid to do it wrong? Yeah. I don't think they're stupid. I think that they were trying an angle. And another thing is, this is something I've heard about lawsuits too, is that when you're doing this kind of thing, oftentimes the lawyers will do like the kitchen sink approach.
Yes.
They'll throw a bunch of
what I said, spaghetti cannon.
Right, exactly. And just see what sticks, essentially.
Yes.
And in this case, they got 3 to stick.
Which is a lot.
Exactly. So in a way, they might be viewing this as a W.
I think it is, honestly.
Right. So here's the statement from the lawyer, Blake's lawyer, Sigrid McCauley. Said Lively, quote, looks forward to testifying at trial and said, quote, the case has always been and will remain focused on the devastating retaliation, end quote, and the alleged effort to destroy Lively's reputation after she raised safety concerns on set. Now,
they're calling it safety concerns now. It sounds like they're changing the story a little bit.
And I agree.
They're no longer...
has always been and will remain focused on the retaliation. I don't necessarily think that's true, right?
I think
it was about the sexual harassment too.
I think they're both big part. I think initially, yeah. Right. I think they're cleverly changing the conversation to the strongest part.
Their strongest argument.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is only natural for lawyers to want to do.
So the trial has been scheduled for May 18th.
Is it on TV? Are we going to get another Johnny Depp?
It's taking place in New York. And New York tragically does not allow
human fecal matter.
That's such a shame.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
They're actors.
Grumpy.
They probably both want it on.
Grumpy.
That's not fair. We're all so invested. Like, judge, please. We got to, come on. Special motion.
Right.
I'm curious. Excuse me.
And I didn't really put a button on that, but that's it. That's the update.
Got it.
Thank you very much.
Got it.
Well, that was that. First of all, thank you, Dan, for going through all that.
Yeah.
No problem.
And I think,
and I apologize if I missed anything or got anything wrong. I know people are very charged about this, and so if you disagree and think that Baldoni did nothing wrong, I'm sorry that happened to you, or happy for you, or whatever.
Fuck you, blood.
no, it was actually really great hearing the judge's summary and opinion on everything. Put everything into perspective. I'm curious. Scalia sent me this.
Holy guacamole.
So this is what these Baldoni defenders, which is like, I guess, turned into
I hadn't
a whole club.
I hadn't even seen specific instances, but I've seen enough of it from the earlier in this whole scandal to know that they must be loving this. They're loving this.
Well, here's one. This has 120,000 likes on TikTok. So let's see how he responds to this.
Right.
Blake Lively just lost. This is not a drill. This just happened. Judge Lyman just ruled, and he completely threw out her sexual harassment claims. He gutted her case ahead of next month's trial. There's a hearing that's happening today as well. And right before the hearing, Lyman placed this on the docket. He has gutted all of her claims except for 3. But most importantly, he has completely thrown out the sexual harassment claims. And he says that there's basically her claims don't meet the evidence for...
That's an outright lie. True. That part is a complete lie.
See, and this is how I had a feeling. And what I suspect,
There's
because I don't
basically
want to
no-
necessarily accuse.
What's wrong with these people? Why would you lie to defend?
Because then, unfortunately, that's like just social media. Like this guy doesn't necessarily know the law.
That's what I was going to
No,
say.
no, no.
He did. I agree with you.
No, if you read the judge's opinion,
he probably didn't
don't
read
think
the
he
whole
did.
thing.
Exactly.
well, that's why. Yeah,
That's where I'm going.
Or if he did, again,
But-
what he is probably being shared around is that first part that I
Yes.
read, which
It's
it was your
social media.
when you heard that first part, you were like, "Oh wow, this
Yeah.
was really bad for Blake."
Yeah.
I suspect that's probably all he's seen.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
then
I don't know.
all you need is to just be a little confident in yourself and have good presence in front of the camera, and then
I mean,
people just listen to you.
This is like a club. This guy's
And he says
he has a financial interest in just continuing this dumb fucking story they wove.
There's basically her claims don't meet the evidence for sexual harassment, which is a huge win for Justin Baldoni. Now,
But
Blake,
nobody even said that. Like that's like a total lie.
I feel like if you just saw that first part, that would be your conclusion.
Right. When you just read us the first part, I
About the
thought
floating.
like, oh, this is really bad
Yeah,
for
you see,
her.
he did gut that one. I would say, like he was like this one's silly.
Well, actually, not
actors are
really
allowed
though,
to
because he was
improvise.
like, he's like alone. That's what I would say. But in the context of everything else,
yeah, it was the very next.
That's how,
after that.
only
Yeah,
if you continue reading.
right.
will likely try to appeal this ahead of next month's trial, but this is a huge victory for Baldoni. Now, there are 3 claims that he is allowing Blake Lively to move forward with, and those are in mostly in relation to the retaliation claims. Remember, she said that there was a smear campaign against her. She has yet to prove the smear campaign.
that one he seems dead to rights on, based on like the released messages we've seen between Baldoni and his like PR people.
and I guess because I think people rightfully hear that and like, yeah, it's dirty, but that's just PR. This is how
That shit was
industry works.
nasty.
Well, it can be nasty, but it isn't necessarily illegal, except for the fact that he signed a contract saying that he wouldn't do that.
Isn't that a if somebody makes a complaint of sexual harassment in the workplace, you cannot retaliate against them.
Right. I'm sorry.
You don't need
the wider
a
context. Right.
You don't
I
need-
just mean in
yeah.
isolation, them seeding a story with influencers and doing like running a quote smear campaign or whatever. Like that's not against the law. It's nasty, but you can do that.
It is. You're right. It is against the law though if you're their employer, which he was, to
Right.
retaliate.
Yeah.
It's super scummy.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, I hate him.
Yeah, and once I got to give you your.
First
We don't care. We don't care.
might explain a lot.
Yeah, it might.
We didn't. not now.
Not now.
Cenk.
Cenk. I do have to give you your props too. Once again, I saw somebody mention in the chat.
That was DJ.
Was it DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah. That Ethan clocked this dude from the very first time we ever talked about
I took
him.
so much
And he
heat from
took a lot of heat from
the
it.
balls.
For him saying he seemed like a scumbag.
I
And
just
gotta
don't understand
say,
why anyone still likes this guy. He's like such a douche.
I think his
Such a
proposal
slime
video,
ball. That was it.
That told me everything.
No, it does.
Yeah,
like-
that tells you everything.
I don't know about this situation, obviously. I think they're both horrible, but
Such-
that video was all you needed to know.
I totally agree.
Cringe over.
Totally agree.
What's worse, actually? Her referring to her husband and Tay as her dragons and herself as Khaleesi is on one hand,
Yeah.
or his proposal video
The
on the other.
proposal video.
Honestly,
It was really a game of
proposal really
cringe.
tough.
Yeah, it
That's
was
tough, right?
But his was
Hers was
so
private.
Yeah,
The
his was
proposal
so
video-
long.
Proposal's
That's
worse.
true.
Hila's saying
Proposal's
proposal's
worse.
way worse.
Will be so hard to top. I don't know what would top that.
the proposal is worse because it was a public display to glorify himself.
It had nothing about
in
her.
a moment that was
Yeah.
supposed to be about
Yes.
their love and his
Yes.
wife.
And not to
that's fair.
demonize all white women, but around that time, I feel
No,
like
do it.
every white girl was like, "I'm Khaleesi." You'll get Stassi during that time.
Yeah,
She's like,
right.
"I have." Everyone. It was like the first time they watched like some nerd shit and realized how good it was. But yeah, so
Wait,
there is.
people were saying that?
Everyone was. Yeah, I feel like a lot of girls like it was the first like.
Saying I'm Khaleesi's fucked.
No, just saying like I'm into. They got into Game of Thrones and like they were all like.
Best season ever.
All in on it. So yeah, they would reference the show all the time.
I'm gonna poll the audience. I'm curious what
Yeah.
they think.
I was Team Michael.
Wait, what's the
watching
poll?
Version.
Between
What was
is
more cringe?
More cringe?
It's. I don't even think you need to. I think it's overwhelmingly
Nah,
Baldoni.
I think
Based
it's worth
on-
polling. I think it's, yeah.
Okay, I
Because
mean-
you underestimate people's hate for Blake.
No. It's got to be Baldoni because of the public display. It makes it worse.
You know what? Worse than the dragons, I think, was her interview with the pregnant woman.
That shit was
when
horrible.
she was like just a straight up textbook
But even
mean girl.
still, Baldoni's is worse because it's so narcissistic. It's so fucking insane.
It's narcissist. Yes, it's very narcissistic. Hers was very mean though.
Hers is very mean.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, that was tough. That was
His video is crazy.
And it's for a proposal too. Like this is your proposal with your wife, and you make a 30-minute video about you. I could dance, I could act, I could.
Yeah, and it was so long.
Oh my god! And she's just sitting there in the
kept
restaurant.
Okay, it's a blow up, people.
Yeah, it's him, right?
It's a Baldoni blow up.
It's the public aspect of it.
Yeah.
Makes it worse. You know.
Yeah.
But in terms of retaliation, because she did have them sign an agreement of like, here are things that I want done on the set, and one of those was that there wasn't supposed to be any sort of retaliation. That, he is saying, needs to be determined by a jury on whether or not the actions that were taken by TAG PR, which is Justin Baldoni's crisis PR team, whether or not those actions are considered retaliation. He says, I can't determine that. A jury will need to determine whether or not this is retaliation, because technically she did bring forth concerns. The studio was aware of some of her concerns, even though those concerns technically aren't considered sexual harassment. She did bring forth some concerns. You guys did agree to
I thought
not
he was doing
retaliate
better on the
against her.
second half
So
until he
therefore-
said that. Again, that's not quite accurate, my friend. That's not exactly what.
I'm waiting for even more serious cope.
Let's let that, move forward, and let's see if a jury will determine whether or not there was any sort of retaliation. So not that there was no harassment. Let's be clear about that. But
Nope.
in terms of whether or not there was retaliation,
What does he do for a living? I hate how confident he is.
that's a definite.
TikTok.
I hate how confident he is.
News
Probably.
on TikTok.
Yeah. Trusted news source
Yeah.
for Zoomers.
They should have to APA cite their sources.
Yeah. Let's see the actual.
It's just another TikTok.
The judgment,
for a jury to define. So we will see if there's even going to be a trial next month after all. But as of right now, her
What do you
sexual
mean?
harassment case has been completely gutted. He said there was no sexual harassment. This is a huge win for Justin Belgium.
That is
Okay.
yeah. That's
Hey, buddy.
that's
And this is about exactly
wildly untrue.
That's exactly what I suspected when
Yeah.
I started looking into this. The narrative by the Baldoni
Well, listen,
side
at
of the argument was going to make, and
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the public think because that lawsuit is going forward.
Yeah.
And he can get really fucked. It could ruin him.
it could. It could also. We should acknowledge too. I mean, it's going to go to trial, and trials are unpredictable. It could go against Lively. All the judge is saying is that there is enough here that it should go to trial. He didn't. He didn't actually give a judgment one way or the other. And maybe the jury looks at all the evidence and says there's not enough here to support what she's claiming. And so
It's a reminder.
yeah, it's not necessarily going to. Oh God, please.
Give me the sound.
It's 27 minutes.
This is in sync.
Premature.
A little bit.
Hey. This is something that just felt really cheesy.
Why is it 30 minutes?
And the idea is she doesn't know about it, so she
Yeah.
thinks she's going to dinner. So the poor girl,
She's sitting by herself.
sitting, starving, probably she hasn't eaten all day.
Face cam in the corner the
Yeah.
whole time. Justin and Emily, the proposal.
14 million views, man.
Honestly, should just say
Yeah,
Justin, the proposal.
It was a super long video, was it? Because can you imagine? Because I would be thinking any second it's going to end, and it just goes
going.
on.
28
You have
minutes.
no idea how long this production
Yes.
is.
How long would that feel? 30 minutes?
Oh my god! I would be so confused.
Fuck him. I'm sorry. I always forget how bad it is. It irks me.
Was he like in that room physically at the same time as her?
No, that's part of what was so absurd about all of this.
He came out after.
Yeah, he shows up at the end.
Oh my god.
I feel like so this is posted by his production company. I feel like that must have cost them a fortune to film that.
It's pretty
Yes,
high
it looks
effort.
expensive.
Worth every penny for. His
Well, there's
love.
like 10 different sets. And
I would have to
cast
imagine
and-
he put his own money up for it, right?
Well, it's his production company. I mean, I don't know.
How could he justify a proposal video as
It's
like
a business expense.
Well, if he owns the business, he can spend the company's money however he wants.
I suppose.
Are there ad rolls on this?
I don't know I don't know what his partners are and stuff.
His partner is the other guy that's being accused of sexual harassment.
He probably can do whatever the fuck he wants.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
I forget. Does he talk to his fiance's dead dad in this video? Is it in this as well? Wow.
I don't remember if that was separate or if it's in here. Maybe it's in here.
I don't know. I guess I thought it was in this.
Yeah.
What a great update from the judge there, and thank you to Dan. Well, there it is.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
And also an important lesson.
Lena too. She was helping me prepare. This morning.
I don't know where she is, but fantastic work.
Thank you, Dina.
As well to Lena on prepping that, and that was actually really nice. Update, one of the best in a while, just because the judge offers clarity.
True.
Which I appreciate always.
Instead of just us hashing it out.
Yes.